Shout out to our sweet sister Kimberly. Congratulations. Happy birthday. I love you. Let's get started. Hey, His Palette community. My name is Gena, if you do not know, and I've been creating with Kimberly for about 2 years, and I'm so excited to be a part of her big celebration. If you want to create with me, we are going to use the Floral background one. I printed that 2 times on cardstock. Then we're going to use the Within 17 Girl. And then we're going to use bold butterflies. I printed this once on clear sticker paper and twice on cardstock. Today I'm working in a mixed media art journal. However, I'm not going to be doing any mixed media, and I just put you on fast forward. Otherwise, this video would be way too long. I'm going to be using the 2 background pieces fully on my page. I am going to put some cardstock behind them, but if I was to do this, for example, in my Big Day Spring Bible, what I would do is print these on clear sticker paper, face them exactly the way I have them faced now, and that way the blue sky color would be over the words and you would still be able to see them through the paper. As you can see, I was starting to use it on the white papers, which are canvas in this book, and I decided I didn't want to waste those, so I went over to the brown matte cardstock because I think it's going to work out better and it's going to give me another extra page, which you'll see here in a few minutes. As you saw there, sometimes in these art journals you have to kind of help the pages come open, so you just have to be real gentle with that. And I decided at this point that I'm going to end up making this almost like a little tip-in type book. So I am taping the 2 pages together, and I'm using packing tape. And when I do this, just remember to roll your tape over on your tape roll, otherwise you're going to be trying to figure that out and find it forever. And then you just cut off the ends and you have these 2 pages secured together perfectly, like they could be a couple pages in a book, which is exactly what I'm going to be doing here. Is I'm adding them into my art journal book. Now you're just going to see me open and closing the journal. I just wanted to make sure that it was going to fit in there nicely. And now I'm bringing in my girl. Right there, I'm deciding that I'm going to use the top as a pocket because I'm not going to write on these pages. And I am focusing on a Bible verse. We're going to be talking Colossians 3:12 through 13. So I want to be able to have a place to come in and journal. You will see me put this in and out of the journal just because I like to work on a flat surface if possible, and because I'm doing this just on the background pages, which are on cardstock, I'm going to be primarily doing that on my desk, and then I want to just make sure it's sized correctly in my journal. So as you can see around the girl, I went over to my sewing machine and I stitched her down just to give her a little extra accent. I used like this really pretty magenta thread that matches those butterflies, and now it's the process of figuring out where I'm going to put the butterflies and what I'm going to be doing with that tag. I knew I wanted to put a title on this page, so I'm using 2 little extra pieces of white cardstock just to set where my title is going to go. And I tell you, the process of figuring out which butterflies I was going to use and where they were going to go took me forever. But I knew going in I had a plan that I wanted to use these 3 sets together. I cut all the butterflies ahead of time, so if you can do that, that helps out tremendously. And then I knew I wanted to stack them because I wanted this page to be dimensional. I wanted to look like the butterflies were flying off the page. So there you can see I cut down that 1 butterfly. Don't be afraid to cut into your printables. Once it's yours, you have it, you can print it as many times as you want and use it however you want. So now I am coming in with some Tim Holtz foam stamps, and where I laid out those 2 pieces of cardstock, that's where I'm going to go in and stamp the title of my page. The title of this layout is called Sisterhood, and I chose that because I really feel like Kimberly has done a phenomenal job here in the Facebook group, building a sisterhood of women who are kind and humble and are compassionate and patient and encouraging to one another. It's a group that I really enjoy, and I've met a lot of really awesome ladies here, a lot of faith-filled women with big, beautiful hearts, and I just take my hat off to Kimberly for that. Kudos, my friend. Okay, so as you saw, I took a ruler to put a line underneath or where I wanted this to kind of line up. It doesn't end up being perfect, which in the past I may have come in and redone the whole thing, but I'm trying to let go of being a perfectionist and realize that these are just layouts and it's about the page and what it means, and in this case it's about his palette and Kimberly. And speaking of Kimberly, I just want to say congratulations on your 5 years of his palette ministry, as well as congratulations to 3 years of the His Palette shop. I think what you're doing with your ministry and your shop is quite phenomenal. I look over there sometimes and there's been like 15,000 sales, and I think about all the people or all the women, there could be men too, so all the people that have His Palette products in their Bibles and have prayed about them or prayed for others with them, and I think that's something that God looks down on and just thinks, okay, yeah, that's quite wonderful. Okay, so I do have a little bit more to say about our dear sister Kimberly, but let me talk about my layout here. So I took the butterflies and I stacked the 2 that are cardstock and I took them to my sewing machine. I put in black thread and I just sewed them down. Now I'm using tape runner literally just in the very middle, so the other 2 pieces, the 2 butterfly pieces can come up on the sides. And that's how I'm making it look like it's 3D, kind of like they're flying off the page. With the thread, I chose to cut the thread off. I thought about keeping it on for this layout, but I decided not to. And then when I was stamping, I didn't mention this, but I'm using Stays On stamp and it's phenomenal. You saw me testing it because I have not used it with these foam stamps. So that's the reason there was a little sheet off to the side, and I showed that because I am going to use that in something else down the road. So I always try to use everything. And now I'm just bringing in a little black pen and I'm giving the butterflies some antennas. Lots of times when I'm doing butterflies on a page, I will make little trails behind them, but in this case, I didn't want to take away from the gorgeous background. I love these papers, and I'm sure that they were meant to be used the other way with all the florals on the bottom and then like the pink and blue as mountains and the sky, but this is just another way to flip things around and see how I can use it. I just love the colorful paint that's on this page. I believe it's paint. And now I'm bringing in a tag, and my plan here is this background piece of paper is on clear matte sticker paper. So I'm gonna mat my sticker paper onto this tag, and then I'm trying to match it up, so you almost really have to look for it to know that there's a tag there. And this is going to be where my journaling is, because I printed the background pages on cardstock and I don't necessarily love to write on that. And again, I don't want to take away from the layout. So my notes, my prayer, they're going to go on the back side of this tag. One thing about this clear sticker paper, this is Mako clear sticker paper, and you can write on it with like a felt pen or an illustrating pen or something like that. However, again, I don't want to take away from the artwork, so I'm just writing on the back. And then when you lay down like a bigger piece of sticker paper, if you don't know, you should start in just one area and slowly release the backing. And that's how you can ensure that your sticker paper is going to go on where you want it to, and you're not going to have bubbles or any sort of issue. While I'm working on this, I want to jump into the Bible verses. They are Colossians 3:12 through 13. This is the NIV version, and they say, "Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Bear with each other and forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone. Forgive as the Lord forgave you." As I was looking at verses to choose for something that I felt was good for sisterhood, I love this one because, it has some of the fruits of the Spirit, and I just believe it's how we should be treating one another. Some of the other verses that I looked at, and if you are interested in creating something about sisterhood, there's Proverbs 17:17, 1 Peter 4:8 through 10, Ecclesiastes 4:9 through 4:10, and another good one I thought was 1 Thessalonians 5:11. I'm really excited about how that tag turned out. I think it was smart to put it on sticker paper because it really fits onto the page seamlessly. You can kind of tell that there's a tag there over on the left, and then the gold sticker gives it away, but it's perfect. It fit in there nicely. I cut it down to go where it needs to go, and now I'm just coming in and putting in some more butterflies. I thought I had it kind of laid out, and again, I move these babies around so much, you guys, you would just be shocked. And then I was thinking about sisterhood. I was gonna come in and put some of the words that I really thought meant what they meant to me for sisterhood, and I started to write compassion up there on the upper right of the page, as you can see, with a stamp, and I didn't like it, so I'm going to come back in and cover that up. Here I have my little layout folded over, and I decided that I didn't want to put it directly onto the matte cardstock, so I'm mounting it on black cardstock. And what I'm doing is I'm making this a page in this book that is only going to be laid down on one side, and that's because if I tried to put it on both, it would be very difficult because I had put the two together in the middle, so it would be stretching each time. And what I realized with this is this allows me to gives me 2 extra pages. So this is kind of an idea. If you're going into your Bible, you could tip in or make a hinge for this in your Bible and have an extra page as well. So for me, it's a lot of double checking, making sure that everything's going to fold up and everything's going to fit in there. I didn't want the 2 ends, like where I'm cutting down right now, I didn't want them sticking out of the book too far when I have the book folded up, so I'm cutting them down, and then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to stitch around them. I thought that was going to give it a really nice detail, and I love how it turned out. So I'm using the same thread that I used to stitch down this Within Girl. It's like that magenta color, and I love it. And here I'm telling myself, okay, now I have 2 pages, so that's good. And then here's the thread that I'm using to stitch, and there it is. And I just think it looks so pretty. And looking at it, I feel like once I was done with it, it seemed really simple, but this this layout, I want to say it took me like 3 or 4 hours just to kind of figure out. One, because when I'm using 2 or 3 sets for his palette, there's just something like that is in me that makes me want to like do something really nice. And obviously for this reason, that it's going to be a video in the His Palette Facebook group for Kimberly's celebration, I wanted to, go an extra little mile there. And now what I'm doing is I'm testing this with Scotch tape. Scotch tape is my go-to when I want to just check on something. So I'm checking here to make sure that this is going to open and close nicely. And then once I get that to fit the way I want, I'll come in and I will put it down with packing tape like I did with putting the 2 background pieces together. So one of the great things about watching someone's video, like for me, is if you find something that you like, they've already gone through the hassle and figuring out the process and where things want to go. So you can just go in and make something pretty. And that's what I'm doing now is I mean, the whole thing I think is very pretty, but I come back in now and I'm going to add a couple more big butterflies, and then I add in some small ones. And this one was a little tricky because it's right up near where the fold's at, so I had to be really careful how I laid it, but I also wanted to cover up that COMP that I had stamped down. And just speaking of videos, like I have to give a huge shout out to the gals that go live and just do stuff off the cuff. Like I could never do that in under an hour. I would have to have everything completely planned out and maybe be recreating another page. So shout out to Kimberly and Diana and Crystal, who are constantly going live, and anyone else that I may have missed or anyone that goes live in other groups. You guys are the real all-stars. So I'm going to be coming in here and doing the same thing with the small butterflies as I did with the large ones. I initially was thinking, oh yeah, I'm not going to put a stitch through the middle, but I ended up doing that. And if you have a sewing machine, stitching the butterflies, it really secures them. So like, it's a good thing to do. And if you do have a sewing machine, you've never used it with paper, as long as you are just using like a light cardstock, you can use your regular needle. If you have a heavier cardstock, then I use like a Gena needle, so that's just a little tip there. But again, you're just gonna see me going in here with some more butterflies. While I'm doing this and finishing up this page, I want to also just say happy birthday to Kimberly. Again, I think that we should be just celebrating all that she's done and who she is, and I can't wait to meet you in person. I know that's gonna happen someday. As far as everyone else, just reach out to somebody and encourage them. Like, we are a sisterhood, and especially in his palette, I think Kimberly does such a fantastic job at including everybody and making sure everyone's included. And I just love that so much. When I do a layout or a page like this where I am thinking about a specific topic, and in this case choosing a title as in Sisterhood, I try to do my research behind it. One, so I have, my heart in it and what I can pray about. And then in this case, I went in and researched a little bit about sisterhood and siblings, and I thought I would just share a couple of the things. There's like 5 important things that should be done to be a good sibling or sister or friend. And the first one's loyalty, and a good point that they made was don't only be loyal when you agree. The second one is honesty, that is being genuine and making sure that people can trust you. Then there's compassion. I think compassion's huge, especially in this day and age. A lot of us, we live in different states and different countries, and we have different beliefs. And I think that as long as we treat every situation with compassion, we can get through it. The fourth one was listen well. That is just being attentive and taking the time to actually listen to someone or reading their message and understanding it. And then the last one is trustworthy. And that's more of like, if someone tells you something, then keep it to yourself. And like setting boundaries, like where you won't talk about certain things. So anyways, friends, this is Sisterhood. This is for the His Palette celebration. I hope you enjoyed this video. And again, congratulations, Kimberly. I love you so much. I hope if anyone recreates this, share it in the post below. And go support our friend and sister Kimberly. Pick up something from the His Palette shop. And may God bless each and every single one of you. Know that you are loved, my friends.